You can influence others without talking. This is what is known as unspoken impact, or the art of silence. You see, in a world brimming with noise, where words often drown in their own echoes, there lies a forgotten art, an art so profound yet subtle, it shapes destinies without uttering a single word. This is the art of unspoken impact, the mysterious power of silence. Have you ever paused to consider the profound influence of a silent gaze, or the unspoken understanding between two souls? Here in this exploration, we shall unravel this hidden power, a journey not through the clamor of words, but through the serene path of silence. Imagine a serene lake, its surface undisturbed, reflecting the world with clarity and peace. This lake is not unlike the tranquil mind of a person who has mastered the art of silence. Such individuals speak without speaking. Their presence alone communicates volumes. They are like the ancient sages of the East, who conveyed the deepest truths with a mere glance or a simple gesture. Their impact is not diminished by the absence of words, rather it is magnified, leaving an indelible mark on those around them. The art of unspoken impact is not about the absence of communication. It is instead a more profound way of connecting with others. It's about harnessing the power of body language, of empathy, and of a deeper understanding of the human psyche. The great philosophers of the West, like Socrates and Plato, knew this well. They often engaged in dialogues where the true meaning was found not in the spoken words, but in the pauses between them, in the unspoken understanding that blossomed in the silence. As we delve deeper into this art, we uncover its roots in various cultures and philosophies. In Buddhism, for instance, silence is revered as a path to enlightenment, a way to experience the world in its truest form, unclouded by the incessant chatter of the mind. Similarly, in the mystic Sufi traditions, silence is seen as the language of the heart, a means to connect with the divine without the distractions of the spoken word. But how does one cultivate this powerful art? The first step is to understand the language of silence. This language is not passive, it is active and engaging. It involves keen observation, the ability to listen not just with the ears, but with the heart. It requires us to be fully present in the moment, to connect with others on a deeper level. It's about understanding that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. One individual who profoundly explored the significance of silence in his philosophy was the American philosopher Henry David Thoreau. Thoreau, known for his simple and contemplative lifestyle, spent 2 years, 2 months and 2 days living in a small cabin near Walden Pond in the mid-19th century. During this time, he immersed himself in the tranquility of nature and engaged in deep reflection on the human experience. Thoreau's writings, particularly his book Walden, emphasized the importance of solitude and silence as a means to connect with oneself and the world around us. He believed that by retreating from the noise and distractions of society, one could discover essential truths about life and existence. In his famous words, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." Thoreau's philosophy encourages us to find our own Walden Pond, a metaphorical place where we can experience the language of silence. He believed that in quiet contemplation, away from the constant buzz of modern life, we could better understand our inner selves and our connection to the natural world. In the hustle and bustle of the 21st century, Thoreau's ideas about the importance of silence remain relevant. Many people find themselves constantly bombarded by information, notifications, and the opinions of others through social media and technology. In such a noisy world, the practice of silence can be a remedy for the soul. Thoreau's approach to silence aligns with the Buddhist and Sufi traditions mentioned earlier. He believed that by quieting the external noise, we can better hear the language of our own hearts and the wisdom of the world around us. It's not about avoiding communication or shutting ourselves off from society, but rather about finding balance and recognizing when the silence can be more powerful and meaningful than words. This journey into the art of unspoken impact will also take us through parables and stories that illustrate the profound power of silence. Consider the story of a wise old monk who, when asked to share his wisdom about happiness, simply smiled and walked away. His silence spoke louder than any sermon, leaving the inquirer to ponder deeply about the true essence of happiness. The story of the wise old monk and his silent response holds a timeless lesson about the profound impact of silence in our lives. It teaches us that sometimes words are not necessary to convey the most important messages, and that silence can speak volumes in ways that words cannot. When the monk was asked about happiness, his silence indicated that happiness cannot be fully explained or defined through words alone. Happiness is a deeply personal and subjective experience, and it often transcends the limitations of language. By walking away with a smile, the monk invited the inquirer to look within themselves for the answers to their question. He encouraged them to explore their own feelings and experiences to discover the true essence of happiness. The monk's response also highlights the idea that silence can create a space for reflection and introspection. In a world filled with noise and distractions, we rarely take the time to pause and listen to our inner selves. The monk's silence served as a reminder that sometimes we need to step back from the constant chatter and busyness of life to connect with our own thoughts and emotions. Now, we venture deeper, peeling back the layers to uncover the subtleties and nuances of nonverbal communication. This exploration is not a linear path, but a fabric woven with stories, insights, and reflections, each revealing a different facet of the unspoken art. Silence, often accompanied by body language, can be as expressive as a symphony. Each gesture, each facial expression, and each pause is a note in a complex composition of unspoken dialogue. Consider the way a mother understands her child's needs without a word being spoken, or how artists convey profound emotions through the silent medium of their art. The unspoken is a language in itself, rich in emotion and meaning. Delving into the realms of psychology, we find that silence can be a mirror, reflecting our own thoughts and emotions back to us. In the quiet, we confront truths that words often mask. The art of using silence effectively in communication is akin to a dance, knowing when to step forward with words and when to step back into silence. It's a balance, a rhythm that creates a dynamic and powerful exchange. Silence, when strategically employed, holds the power to influence others in ways that words alone cannot. It invites reflection, provokes curiosity, and demands attention. In the realm of psychology, this influence of silence is deeply intertwined with our innate human instincts and emotions. One of the key psychological principles at play is the concept of active listening. Active listening is not just about hearing words, but also about understanding the emotions and intentions behind those words. When we practice active listening, we not only pay attention to what is being said, but also to what is not being said. It is in these gaps of silence that our minds race to fill with meaning. Imagine a scenario where someone is sharing a personal problem with you, and you respond with silence, maintaining eye contact and showing empathy through your facial expressions. In that moment, your silence conveys that you are fully present, that you care, and that you are giving them the space to express themselves without judgment. This kind of silence fosters trust and opens the door to deeper communication. The other person feels heard and validated, which can lead to a more profound connection and a greater willingness to share. Moreover, silence can be a potent tool for persuasion. When you pause before making a persuasive point, you create anticipation in your listener. The pause allows them to process what you've said, and in that brief moment of silence, they might mentally rehearse your argument or even fill in the gaps with their own reasons for agreeing with you. This phenomenon, known as the information gap theory, suggests that people are more likely to be persuaded when there is a gap or missing information that they want to fill. Silence also plays a crucial role in conflict resolution and negotiation. In heated discussions, taking a moment of silence can serve as a cooling-off period. It allows both parties to collect their thoughts, control their emotions, and reevaluate their positions. The absence of words during this pause prevents further escalation of the conflict and paves the way for a more rational and productive conversation. On the flip side, silence can be wielded as a form of power and control. Think of situations where a person in authority remains silent during a meeting or negotiation. This silence can be intimidating and make others uneasy, leading them to second-guess their own positions or feel pressured to fill the void with concessions. In such cases, silence becomes a strategic tool for manipulation and influence. History is replete with figures who used silence as a tool of influence and power. From the Stoic leaders of ancient Rome To the contemplative philosophers of the East, these individuals understood that sometimes the most powerful statement is the quiet strength of presence. They led not just with words, but with the weight of their silent resolve. One such historical figure who employed silence as a potent instrument of influence was Mahatma Gandhi, the iconic leader of the Indian independence movement. Gandhi's approach to nonviolent resistance, known as satyagraha, was deeply rooted in the power of silence. Through his life and actions, he demonstrated how silence could speak volumes and inspire millions. Gandhi's journey towards embracing silence as a tool of influence was a gradual one, shaped by his experiences and evolving philosophy. Born in 1869 in Porbandar, India, he grew up in a society that was marred by British colonial rule and social injustices. As a young lawyer in South Africa, he faced racial discrimination, which ignited his passion for justice and equality. It was during his time in South Africa that Gandhi began to explore the concept of nonviolent resistance and the role of silence within it. One of Gandhi's earliest experiments with silence as a form of protest was his decision to observe a day of silence in protest against the Rowlatt Act in 1919. This act allowed the British government to arrest and detain Indians without trial, a clear violation of civil liberties. Gandhi's Day of Silence was a powerful statement of protest and solidarity, drawing attention to the unjust law without resorting to violence or fiery rhetoric. However, Gandhi's most famous and enduring use of silence occurred during his numerous hunger strikes throughout his life. These hunger strikes were not mere acts of passive resistance. They were a form of spiritual and political protest that spoke to the hearts and minds of the masses. By refusing to eat, Gandhi demonstrated his unwavering commitment to his principles, and he was willing to endure great personal suffering for the sake of justice. Our exploration would be incomplete without understanding how to apply these principles in our daily lives. In our daily lives, applying the principles of silence as a tool for influence and persuasion can be transformative. Imagine a scenario where you're in a meeting and a contentious issue arises. Rather than immediately responding with a counter-argument, you choose to remain silent. This deliberate pause can shift the dynamics of the conversation. Your colleagues, expecting a quick rebuttal, are now given a moment to reflect on what has been said. Your silence can provoke thought, encourage others to re-evaluate their stance, and often lead to more considered and meaningful contributions from everyone involved. Similarly, in personal relationships, silence can be a powerful way of communicating. When emotions run high, instead of engaging in a heated exchange, opting for a moment of silence can be more effective. It shows that you are taking the time to process and respect the other person's viewpoint, and it can prevent the escalation of the situation. Moreover, it can help in gathering your thoughts and responding in a more thoughtful and less reactive manner. In leadership and management roles, the strategic use of silence can also be impactful. Leaders who speak less but with more thought often command greater respect and attention. When a leader chooses to listen more and speak less, it empowers team members, giving them the space to express their ideas and concerns. This approach fosters a culture of open communication and mutual respect, leading to more collaborative and innovative outcomes. Furthermore, embracing silence in our daily lives extends beyond verbal interactions. It involves cultivating a quiet mind and a reflective inner world. In the fast-paced, noise-filled world we live in, finding moments of silence allows us to connect with our deeper selves, gain clarity, and approach life with a calm and centered presence. This internal silence is not just an absence of sound, but a state of being that enriches our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. By integrating these practices of silence into our daily routines, whether in professional settings, personal relationships, or our inner lives, we can harness its transformative power. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.